What's your story?
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kristin. If you are new here, I am a self-proclaimed book addict. You can see my books behind me. This is only a small portion of the books that I have. I love to read books. I love to share books. I love to buy books all the time. My husband is not too fond of that last part, but a girl has needs. So today I'm going to be sharing my very first book haul with you guys. It is definitely not my last, but I have got a crazy amount of books here. I will say that I don't know a whole hell of a lot about some of these books, so we're going to be learning together. I am not even ashamed to admit that I bought some of these because of either the title or the cover. Those things draw me in, and without even knowing anything about the book. So I don't know, am I the only one? Please tell me I'm not the only one. But anyway, okay, let's get started. I'm so excited to share these with you guys. Okay, so the first book is The Road of Bones by Christopher Golden. This was a horror book that was recommended by somebody that I watch on YouTube, and I think it's gonna be a really, really good one. The only thing I really know about this is about a guy who is doing a documentary about this haunted highway in Siberia. Like, that is creepy as shit right there. Without even knowing anything else, he's doing a documentary. Apparently this highway, there's been numerous people that have died in car wrecks, but not only that, there's a massive graveyard along this highway for like Soviet prisoners, I guess, from like back in the day. You know, some crazy paranormal, oh my god, why can't I talk today? Paranormal, ghostly, crazy ass stuff is gonna go on this road. So yeah, I'm really excited to read this one, The Road of Bones by Chris Golden. Okay, so the next book that I've got is The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I've always been drawn to this story for some reason, and I just thought it would be really cool to read the book, and it's super short. It's only like 100 and some pages, maybe 100 and I think it's like 106 pages. So, I mean, you can breeze through that in no time. So that is one of my other books that I've got. The third book is Abandoned. I don't know if you can see that really well. The light seems to be, okay. Abandoned by Katie Berry. And the story behind this book is, it is December 31st in 1981. And all these people are in this resort hotel, partying it up, having the time of their lives. You know, it's New Year's Eve, people getting crazy, they're drinking a little, they're partying, whatever. And the clock strikes 12, the lights go out, and legit all of these people vanish, like they just disappear. And so fast forward like 40 years later, there's these two, I think they're sisters. Yeah, no, a brother and a sister apparently have been brought in to solve this mystery, you know, this decade-old mystery. And so they go to this hotel and they're trying to find out what the hell went down that night, like 40 years ago. And so I just thought this sounded really, really cool. I mean, like, I want to know where the hell these people went. Like, how could a room full of people just vanish? I try to figure these books out before I read them, and I'm like, where could they have gone? Where could these people have gone? Like, could it be a Bermuda Triangle kind of thing where they like go into like a parallel universe or something? Like, I don't know. I hope it's not that, because that sounds like it would be confusing. And I mean, when I read, I don't like to be confused. So anyway, that's another one. This is The Wife Upstairs by Frida McFadden. Not to be confused by the one by Rachel Hawkins, completely different book. But the premise behind this book is this husband and wife, they have apparently like what seems to be the perfect marriage. She gets in an accident, she cannot walk, she cannot talk, she can't dress herself, she's, you know, like the works. So they have to hire somebody to help her. And as the story goes on, apparently this woman starts to realize that the wife, who is named, I don't even know, Victoria, the woman, Victoria, the wife, who is apparently, you know, incapable of doing anything after this accident, she is not so incapacitated as what she is making everyone believe. And then this helper woman, who is named Sylvia, I guess I could have gotten that for you guys before, Sylvia, she finds her journal, and there's all kinds of crazy shit in this journal. It says, then Sylvia discovers Victoria's diary hidden away in a drawer, and what's inside is shocking. Like, maybe their marriage wasn't perfect after all. Maybe there's some creepy, maybe her husband made her get in the accident. Maybe he's the one that did it, and she's like trying to take him down, like pretending she's all hurt and shit. Yeah, I don't know. I just come up with my own synopsis based on like what I read. So Okay, this one, There's Someone Inside Your House. Now tell me y'all wouldn't be drawn in just by that title. There's someone in your house. Holy shit. That is the fear of pretty much like everyone on the planet. I mean, somebody in your house that is not like, you know, somebody you know, like family member or child or something. And this one is actually a Netflix film. Netflix film, and it is. I went and checked on it. I haven't watched it yet, but the whole story is about this girl named Makani, I can't see that, oh my god, I really need glasses. Makani Young, and she moves into a rural town in Nebraska with her grandmother, and apparently one by one, people in her high school start getting gruesomely murdered. As the body count rises and the terror, good lord, I can't see that. And the terror grows closer, will Makani survive the killer's twisted plan? Ooh, boy. That looks like a good one. I don't know. I'm gonna read the book first before I watch the show. What do you guys do? If there's like a movie or a TV series or something, if there's a show out, do you guys watch the show first or do you read the book? Tell me. I'm inquiring minds want to know. Because I thought honestly about turning the show on and then I'm like, no, I want to read the book first. But what do you do? Oh my gosh, there's so many. All right, so this is a kind of, yeah, true crime. Well, true stories, true crime. Behind the Horror, True Stories That Inspired Horror Movies by Dr. Lee Mueller. This intrigues me because I'm a big horror movie fan and I love the idea of reading some stories that inspired these slasher movies. I don't know why, because, you know, I just do. Oh, and it has all kinds of pictures in it. Look at, like pictures and... Oh, that looks creepy as hell. Look at that shit. Yeah, this is gonna be really cool. I think this is gonna be a really fun ride. It goes over like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Jaws. Oh my god, Jaws. I didn't know Jaws was inspired by, okay. Poltergeist, Nightmare on Elm Street, Silence of the Lambs. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be a good one. So yeah, you guys, Behind the Horror, if you guys are like into slasher films or anything like that, oh, pick this one up. This is gonna be a good one. Okay, so The Neighbor Downstairs is the next one by Helen Cooper. And this one is about a girl named Emma, and she lives in the downstairs apartment. There's a family that lives upstairs. Ooh, that is like, okay. That was like all fuzzy a minute ago. Oh my gosh, my camera, what the hell is my camera doing? Anyway, this girl named Emma, she is living below this family, and it's a mom, dad, and a daughter named Freya. She's a teenager. Like, it seems like the family has got it all together. They're a perfect family. And then Freya goes missing. And it just basically says the effects of the disappearance ripple outward among the building's inhabitants, revealing devastating mistakes and long-held secrets. I'm gonna have to get glasses, y'all, holy crap. Including a child gone missing 25 years earlier and a shocking murder. So apparently this girl's disappearance brings up a whole load of bad stuff from the people that live in this, I guess it's an apartment complex or something. It must be an apartment complex. Yeah, apparently they're all in some really bad shit because all their secrets start coming out when this chick disappears. So that one sounds like a really good one. Okay, hang on now, let me think. Okay, The Crucifix Killer by Chris Carter. This is one that has been recommended on BookTube quite a bit that I've seen, and it centers around, well, this detective, Robert Hunter. The victim suffered a terrible death, and on the nape of her neck has been carved a strange double cross, the signature of a psychopath known as the Crucifix Killer. Only the Crucifix Killer was caught and executed 2 years ago, so who the hell is this? Like, is this a copycat? Is this the Crucifix Killer coming back as a little ghosty? Like, what's going on? I don't know, but I've really heard that his books are amazeballs, Chris Carter, and so I had to pick this one up. This one by The Twisted Ones by T. King Fisher. It's about a girl named Mouse, and I don't know if that's her real name or if that is her nickname or what, but anyway, Mouse has to clean out her grandmother's house. Apparently her grandmother died, and her grandmother was a hoarder, and she lived in the woods, like isolated from everyone, and Mouse has to go clean out her grandmother's hoarded house. and apparently she comes across her grandfather's journal, and in the journal is a lot of like crazy talk, like it says somebody, the ravings of a broken mind, if that gives you an idea of what is in this journal. And so her grandfather was going nuts apparently, and she just starts to encounter some really like scary, terrifying, crazy stuff while she's in this house, like out in the woods, inside the house. And it just says, because sometimes the things that go bump in the night are real and they're looking for you. Oh my God. And if she doesn't face them head on, she might not survive to tell the tale. So Mouse better get her shit together and figure out what the hell's going on in this one. But this one looked like really, really, really good. So the next book is The Fifth to Die by J.D. Barker. This is the second in a series. I don't know if you can see that, it's kind of glary. By J.D. Barker, I just said that. The first one is called The Fourth Monkey. I have not read that yet. I don't even know the synopsis about that, but it is somewhere up on my bookshelf. And this one is just, it centers around the case of missing girls. There's girls that are going missing all over the place. And this detective, Sam Porter, he's still chasing the serial killer from the first book, which again, don't know any synopsis about that. It just says that on the back of this book. And so sounds like there's just two different cases going on in this book, but I wanted to get this because I heard the series was amazeballs, and I figure if I'm gonna read The Fourth Monkey, I want to have these ready and waiting after I'm done with that one. So this is The Fifth to Die, and The Sixth Wicked Child, also by J.D. Barker. This is the third in that series, and it just says, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, do no evil. It's just a continuation of Sam Porter, yeah, trying to figure out what the fuck's going on, I guess. I don't know. It says, in the riveting conclusion of the 4MK trilogy, Barker takes a thriller to an entirely new level. Don't miss a single word of the series. James Patterson called ingenious. If James Patterson called it ingenious, I mean, hello, I'm totally there. Have y'all read this series? Let me know, because I'm really curious. That may be on my TBR for next month, those 3 books. All right, Kill Creek by, who's this by? Oh, Scott Thomas. I didn't even see it. I'm telling y'all, I need glasses. Basically, the premise behind this is there's these 4 horror writers, and they're invited to spend the night in this creepy ass, rundown, infamous haunted house. And it all started as part of a publicity stunt, but it didn't go as planned, because I guess there is a bunch of shit that they wake up when they go in there, and the stuff isn't happy. The stuff that they wake up, the people, not the people, because the people don't, I mean, they're not people in there. The entities that they wake up are not happy with them, and it says what begins as a simple publicity stunt will become a fight for survival. The entity they have awakened, he's pissed, will follow them, torment them, threatening to make them a part of the bloody legacy of Kill Creek. Oh my God. Sign me the F up. Dinner Guest by Kristin Mondlin. Oh, this book centers around a group of friends who are invited to a dinner party by this bizarre, reclusive new neighbor that they have in their neighborhood, and they don't know anything about this person, but whoever this is invites them to a dinner party, and they're like, great, you know, we're gonna get to know this person finally, like see what the hell's going on. And as dinner goes along, they start to realize that things are not as they seem, and it says what starts out as an innocent night of fun soon becomes a seemingly calculated game filled with cryptic messages and chilling revelations. This gives me Clue vibes, and I don't know. I think this one sounds like a winner. The Squatter by Jonathan Dunn. So this book centers around Molly Green. She's a single mom. She is having to close her restaurant because of COVID-19. They're throwing the COVID-19 in there, and she has to close her restaurant, and she's moving out of town with her daughter to this farmhouse that is like really, it's like a 200-year-old farmhouse. She's moving there. And when they get there, they start to realize that they're not quite alone, you know? I don't know. It says they're sharing their house with a sinister squatter that lingers in the fireplace. Now, I mean, that to me sounds a little cheesy. Like, it would have to be a pretty big fireplace. I don't know. I'm realizing about myself that I'm not quite sure if the like paranormal zombie type books are my favorite, and I don't know if this one's gonna be, or if it's gonna be an actual person. Like, I want a living, breathing serial killer, like stalking somebody. That's what I want in my books, and I'm not sure if paranormal, I'm not sure if the ghosties just do it for me, but we'll see about this one. It doesn't necessarily say either way, but yeah, if he lives in the fireplace, I don't know if he could be human. I mean, I guess he could, but you know, be like tight quarters in there. This is the first in the Women's Murder Club series, something that I have read a very long time ago back in the day, back when I was working before my twins were even born. I had a job where I would just pretty much like enter data into a computer all day, so I would listen to audiobooks constantly, like dream job, right? But this was the series, one of the series that really got me hooked back into reading, and I love James Patterson like literally more than life. I love him so much, and his Alex Cross books, The Women's Murder Club, it's a series that I definitely want to revisit and start reading again. In fact, I've actually started reading this one already, and it centers around a detective named Lindsay Boxer and her girlfriends. They form this women's murder club, and one of them, I believe, and like I said, it's been a minute since I've read like the whole story, and so I can't remember. I think one of her friends is a reporter, one of her friends maybe is a television anchor, and one of them has to do with like the maybe a coroner or something like that. I don't remember. They all have prominent jobs within the community that, you know, they kind of help each other on different cases that come along, but I just adore these books, and so I'm really excited to revisit them and start back. But I wanted to show you guys, this is the very first one, First to Die, James Patterson. Love this guy. Another series that I love by Kathy Reichs. It's called Deja Dead, and it's the first in the Temperance Brennan series, which if you guys watch the show Bones, you know that Temperance Brennan is the character in that show. It does not follow the books, I don't believe necessarily. I have not watched the show that much. I'm more on Criminal Minds and NCIS right now, but this is a character that I really, really love, and I love Kathy Reichs, her books, from what I remember. This is another one where I would listen to her audiobooks all the flippin' time back in the day. And so I saw this book at my local library. They have a kind of a little like thrift bookstore inside my library, and I saw this, and so I scooped it up. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna start this series as well, so I'm super excited. And it is my very first Stephen King book I've ever even purchased. I've ever read, I've ever purchased. I've never purchased a Stephen King book before. I'm gonna give him a go. I don't know. I know I've heard that you can love Stephen King or you can hate Stephen King, which I guess you could do that with any author, but like he's got a certain way of writing. But this book really intrigued me because 11/22/63, it's all about the JFK assassination. I heard that this is a story kind of within a story, but I don't know much more about it other than that. I'm just really excited. Look at this bad boy. Holy crap. I don't know how long that's gonna take me to get through, but I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna give Stephen King a go, and let me know if you've read this or if you have a favorite Stephen King book. I would love to hear, because I do want to check out new authors all the time. I'm like totally willing to check out new authors, new genres. I would love to know what some of your favorite books are by Stephen King, or anyone else for that matter. The JFK whole situation has always intrigued me. Just all the weird like conspiracy stuff surrounding it, that's always intrigued me, so I thought this would be a good one to start with. The next one is The Ruins by Scott Smith. I'm gonna be honest, this book drew me in. I just bought this because of the title. I didn't even read anything about it, but when it comes to like archaeological digs or relics or tombs or mummies or anything ancient like that, I am all in, invested 100% of the way, and I just feel like this book is gonna deliver. I really do, because it's surrounding two young couples on a Mexican vacation. And apparently the brother of one of those friends disappears. And so they have to go into the jungle to look for him. And they come across some ancient ruins. And I'm like, Oh my gosh, what are they gonna find? I'm so excited. I can't wait to read this one. Okay, so my next book is called The Hollows by Mark Edwards. This story centers around a man named Tom. He's a journalist. His career is pretty shaky at the moment. Marriage is falling apart, and he decides that he would like to reconnect with his 14-year-old daughter, Frankie, who apparently lives like across the ocean somewhere. And so he wants to spend some quality time with her, and they go to this place called Hollow Falls in Maine and decide to stay in a cabin deep in the woods, which, tell me, that does not spell trouble right from the get-go. Like, you're gonna go to a cabin in Maine, deep in the woods, Hollow Falls, name of the town. That's gonna spell some scary shit's gonna happen. Tom comes across these true crime podcasters named David and Connie, and he starts to learn about the history of Hollow Falls, and it is pretty gruesome, apparently, because there was a crime that was never solved back in the day, and it says the crime was never solved, and now the woods are overrun with murder-obsessed tourists looking to mark the grim anniversary, because the anniversary of this crime is apparently coming up. It's clear that there's something deeply disturbing going on at Hollow Falls, and as Tom's dream trip turns into a nightmare, he and Frankie are faced with a choice: uncover the truth or get out while they still can. So this looks really, really, really good. I can't wait to read it. So the next one is Pen Pal by Dathan Auerbach. I have no idea, I probably just completely butchered that. This cover, I was drawn in by the cover because this gives me Slender Man vibes. Y'all remember Slender Man? My daughters were super into that back in the day. The Slender Man game and all that. This has nothing to do with Slender Man, by the way, but just the cover itself. Creepy ass woods and weird, creepy guy standing in the middle of all of it. This story is about a man trying to make sense of his unsettling childhood. It says he begins to reconstruct his past. As the games and adventures of his youth become engulfed in a larger story, he finds that it forms a tapestry of unbelievable horror that he never could have expected. So, I don't know. I didn't really, like I said, look into this before I bought it. I just love the cover. So, you know, no shame in that. So the next book is Dangerous Habits by Susan Hunter. This story centers around a journalist named Leah Nash. Her teenage sister has died, and she is opening an investigation trying to figure out what happened to her. And while she's doing this, she receives this cryptic message from this nun who apparently drowns. And so these two deaths, her sister and the nun, are apparently linked somehow. And so the whole story is just her trying to figure out how these deaths are linked and what the hell is going on. So the next one, and this one, oh, I've heard some good stuff, some good gory stuff about this one. The Troop by Nick Cutter. I have heard that this is pretty detailed and disgusting, and I can't wait to read it because give me the gory. Give me the gory details. I am here for it. This centers around a Cub Scout troop who go camping in the wilderness, and they stumble upon a voraciously hungry man. And it just says, Tim and the boys are exposed to something far more frightening than any tale of terror, the human carrier of a bioengineered nightmare, a horror that spreads faster than fear, a harrowing struggle for survival with no escape from the elements, the infected, or one another. This one, this is at the top of my list probably for June to read this, because yes, I am all about the gory detail. Okay, so the next book is Dark Roads by Chevy Stevens. This book follows a girl named Haley, whose father has recently died, leaving her in the care of her aunt and uncle. Her uncle is a complete asshole, apparently. He's a police officer who just uses his badge and his power to kind of control and bully people. And so Haley's like, I gotta get the hell out of here. So she ends up leaving and running away. Well, in the meantime, the place where she lives, there is a place called the Cold Creek Highway. And apparently for decades, there have been women that have gone missing along this highway. And so when Haley runs away, she is just hoping that people will think that she was abducted by whoever this highway killer is, and no one will come looking for her. So 1 year later, this girl named Beth comes to town, and she is looking for answers regarding her sister's death. Her sister Amber was a waitress at a local diner in Cold Creek, and she was apparently murdered. And so Beth comes searching for answers to find out exactly what happened to her, and all it says is Beth's search for answers puts a target on her back and threatens to reveal the truth behind Haley's disappearance. So I have heard really, really good things about this one, and so I think this will be a good summer read. So the next one is The Tenant by Angela Lester, so you guys can see that. And this centers around a girl named Kate who is enrolling in this prestigious college. She needs a place to stay, a place to live while she's going to school. And so she answers an ad for a roommate from this girl named Amy. She's like really motherly and protective, and Kate thinks she's found the perfect roommate. Well, as time goes on, this woman gets a little stifling. She kind of suffocates her a little bit, and so Kate starts to like feel a little weird about this whole situation, and Kate's like, I need to get the F away from this woman, and every time she tries, something really, really, really bad happens. And so Kate starts to dig into the history behind this house that they live in. And it just said, Kate knows she needs to get some answers and begins to look into the history of the creepy old house she shares with Amy. What she finds is beyond her worst nightmares. Creepy as shit. Do you want to introduce some books? Do you want to talk about some books you want to read? Huh? Do you want to talk about some books? Okay, you gotta go. You gotta go. Go on. Go on. Okay, so the next two books that I have are by the same author. It is The Whisper Man and The Shadows by Alex North. I do believe this one is first. So we'll go over this one first. So this one is about a guy named Tom Kennedy. He's looking for a fresh start with his son Jake. They moved to this town called Featherbank, where apparently 25 years ago there was a serial killer named Frank Carter who abducted and killed like 5 of the residents. He was nicknamed the Whisper Man because he would lure his victims by whispering at their window. Oh my God. Somebody would be getting a big pile of like pepper spray in the face. I can't even imagine. I'm kind of a puss. Like I would probably hide under the peppers or something. No pepper spray. I probably wouldn't be brave enough to do that. But it just says, just as Tom and Jake settle into their new home, a young boy vanishes, and yada yada yada. They investigate, and then Jake starts acting strangely, and he hears whispering at his window. So this one looks amazeballs. And then we've got The Shadows, which this is about a guy named Paul Adams. He was friends with this other guy named Charlie Crabtree, who apparently 25 years ago committed a gruesome murder that has brought about, it says, committing a murder so shocking that it's attracted the strange kind of infamy that only exists on the darkest corners of the internet and has inspired more than one copycat. Well, Paul Adams, after this happened, he moved away. Charlie Crabtree, the murderer, was never seen again. Paul Adams moved away, and now he has to come back to take care of his mom who has dementia. And it says it's not long before things start to go wrong. Paul learns that Detective Amanda Beck is investigating another copycat that has struck in the town nearby of Featherbank, and his mom is distressed. So it does take place in the same... And I guess some of the same stuff starts happening to remind him of what happened 25 years ago. I don't know for sure, but this one sounds just as amazeballs. I guess it does have the same detective and the same town in both of these books, but I do not think that you have to read them. I could be wrong. Let me know. Have you guys read these? I mean, do we have to read them in a certain order? I don't know. But yeah, this one looks amazeballs. Okay, so the next book is Girl Alone by Blake Pierce. This is the first in the Ella Dark series. She is an FBI agent who is just recently given the chance to join the behavioral crimes unit, and she's got a photogenic memory apparently. And she's kind of fueled by the murder of her own sister. That's what it says. But let's see. Face to face with a real murder, a real killer, and a real ticking clock, Ella realizes she can't rely on her knowledge alone. She must learn to trust her instinct and allow herself to enter the dark canals of a real killer's mind. If she gets it wrong, her career is at stake, and so is the next victim's life. Will Ella's talent be an asset or the source of her downfall? So I thought this was cool. I like series books because I like to get to know the characters, and so I just wanted to check this one out and see what it was all about. The next one is One by One by Ruth Ware. This is more of an isolated thriller. I believe it's set in a ski chalet high in the French Alps. There's a snowstorm outside. These people get trapped together. There's a murderer. Some sketchy shit goes down. People start dying. And they're cut off from the outside world. And the group dwindles down one by one. That's all I need to know. I love isolated thrillers. Like, they're kind of my favorite trope almost. I think knowing that they can't get out, like, I mean, I personally wouldn't want to be involved in that. I wouldn't want to be someplace where I can't get out, but I love reading about it. So I think this one sounds like it is going to be a winner. So this book, Unsub by Meg Gardner, is the first book in a series of 3. I've always been told or heard that if you love Criminal Minds, which I do, one of my favorite shows of all time, you will love this book. And so this book follows Caitlin Hendricks, who is a narcotics detective. Her father is Mark Hendricks, who was the lead detective on this case where a serial killer named the Prophet was terrorizing the neighborhood. Well, his failure to bring him to justice basically put a nail in his coffin. He had a promising career at one time, but this case almost drove him to the brink of madness. And so now, re-emerging 20-some years later, this Prophet is back, and now Caitlin feels kind of like it's her duty to go after him. And it just basically says, determined to decipher his twisted messages and stop the carnage, Caitlin ignores her father's warnings as she draws closer to the killer with each new gruesome murder. Is it a copycat, or can this really be the same Prophet who haunted her childhood? Will Caitlin avoid repeating her father's mistakes and redeem her family name, or will chasing the Prophet drag her and everyone she loves into the abyss? So I'm very, very excited to read this. And then, not to be outdone, this is Into the Black Nowhere by Meg Gardner. This is another one in that series, and I don't know if this is book 1, this is book 2 or 3. I've got book 2 or 3, I'm not sure. I've got the other one coming from Amazon any day now, but I don't know which one. I don't know which one it is. So this is again with Caitlin Hendricks. She's been newly assigned to the BAU and fears that a serial killer is roaming the dark roads outside Austin, Texas. So yeah, this follows just her. All 3 of these books follow her and a bunch of carnage and killing and death and mayhem. So yes, I'm totally down for it. Anything that reminds me of Criminal Minds, I'm totally down. I'm so excited to read those. Another one is Confessions on the 745 by Lisa Unger. This gives me very much like Strangers on a Train vibes. I mean, not just because, I mean, just looking at the cover, because obviously they're on a train. It didn't take much to make that leap. So this follows 2 women who are commuting on the morning train, and they get to talk and start getting to know each other. And one woman named Martha confides that she feels stuck in this torrid affair with her boss. Well, her confessing that causes Selena to confide that she feels like her husband is sleeping with their nanny. Like, holy shit, that escalated quickly. And so they talk about all this personal shit. They get off the train. They assume they're never gonna see each other again. Days later, their nanny disappears, and Selena is pulled into this mystery, trying to figure out what happened to their nanny. As she gets deeper and deeper into it, she realizes that this Martha chick might not have just been a stranger that she met on the commute to work. So she's trying to uncover actually who she really is and what she means for her life and her family and what the hell is going on. So this one sounds pretty good. Oh my gosh, all the books are falling. Okay, so that is it. That is the whole shebang. That's the whole book haul. Thank you for sticking with me. If you have stuck with me for this long, thank you so much. I know I've rambled in spots and I'm sorry for that. I'm just so excited to do this first book haul. Now that I've done one, now I've got to do many, many more. I've got to go out and buy more books. But yeah, I hope you like these books. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Let me know in the comments if you have read any of these books or what you are currently reading. I would love to hear what you're currently reading. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Now, I'm not really sure if this is gonna be a sinister squatter. Okay, so this book centers around Molly Green. She's a single mom. She is having to close her restaurant because of COVID-19. They're throwing the COVID-19 in there, and she has to close her restaurant, and she's moving out of town with her daughter to this farmhouse that is like really, it's like a 200-year-old farmhouse. She's moving there. And when they get there, they start to realize that they're not quite alone, you know, and I don't know. It says they're sharing their house with a sinister squatter that lingers in the fireplace. Now, I mean, that to me sounds a little cheesy. Like, it would have to be a pretty big fireplace. I don't know. I'm realizing about myself that I'm not quite sure if the like paranormal zombie type books are my favorite, and I don't know if that's what this one's gonna be, or if it's gonna be an actual person. Like, I want a living, breathing serial killer, like stalking somebody. That's what I want in my books, and I'm not sure if paranormal, I'm not sure if the ghosties just do it for me, but we'll see about this one. It doesn't necessarily say either way, but yeah, if he lives in the fireplace, I don't know if he could be human. I mean, I guess he could, but you know, be like type